A traditional wheat-sorghum rotation tends to be either wheat followed by wheat, then sorghum, then fallow, or wheat followed by sorghum again, then fallow. But Dr. Josh Lofton, cropping system specialist with Oklahoma State University, says he's had good results with a slightly different rotation.
Doing that wheat, sorghum, wheat, fallow, and then going back in with that wheat, sorghum, wheat allows you to have a shorter fallow period to let that ground rest. Allows you to go into the summer to start cleaning up some of your late season grasses that we typically have issues with. You're talking your Italian ryegrass, your farrow rye, but it also lets you clean up some of those pigweeds. Pigweeds are starting to become a really big issue with our wheat growers late in the season. Helps you clean up some of those pigweeds in those fields. And then what we come in with is then another wheat, sorghum, wheat, and it's a good situation.
That rotation, wheat, sorghum, wheat, fallow, creates some advantages. Sorghum has an extensive root system which breaks up the soil for wheat plants.
We see sorghum can go and get nutrients and water from multiple feet deep into the soil by the time we've pulled that crop off. So what happens then when you go and you plant wheat, it's got all those root channels that sorghum root has created that those wheat roots can then go and find and more easily get deeper into the soil to then go access some of those nutrients and some of that water and some of those other things.
Lofton says another advantage to a wheat, sorghum, wheat, fallow rotation is that it provides some opportunities for weed and disease control.
Mixing sorghum and wheat forces the growers at some point in time typically to take a fallow time off, and that's really good for weed control. That's really good for letting the ground kind of sit for itself and kind of get rechecked back into getting into those tighter rotation windows.
Lofton says it also allows for some treatment options that wouldn't be available otherwise.
You have a lot of access to chemicals you wouldn't be able to spray otherwise. So those good fallow period, especially when we're talking more and more about our glyphosate resistance, and so we have when we put that fallow in, or when we put a grass crop during the summer like sorghum, we have a lot of options that we can go in and get those pigweeds. And so having that fallow period allow that soil to rest, allow us to go in and make some of those weed control options, as well as having a nice, and I call it stable or resilient rotation, because more than likely in most years we'll always harvest sorghum, we'll always harvest wheat, and that's a really good thing to have.
Dr. Josh Lofton with Oklahoma State University. I'm Don Atkinson reporting for the Oklahoma Wheat Commission and Oklahoma Genetics Incorporated.